Elon Musk has said that if artificial intelligence has a goal and humans happen to be in the way, the AI will destroy humanity without even thinking about it. Elon compares it to humans building a road, and an anthill just happens to be in the way. We don't hate the ants, we're just building a road. This is the long-term goal when it comes to connecting our brains to computers, to make our brains superhuman so that we can keep up with artificial intelligence and hopefully control it. That is the long-term goal, to enhance and make our brains superhuman. The short-term goal of brain-to-computer devices is to help fix people. For example, allowing people with spinal injuries to move their limbs, or helping people who have lost their eyesight by having a camera implanted and connected to their brain so they can see again. In this video, we take a look at the sci-fi future that brain-to-computer devices will bring us, along with Elon Musk's thoughts on connecting our brains to machines, how these devices are being used today, the dangers that will come from these devices, and what other freaky things they will allow us to do in the future. When talking about the reason why Neuralink exists, Elon Musk says that it is important to work on brain-related issues and diseases, saying that if someone lives long enough and survives cancer and heart diseases, then most likely brain-related problems will happen. Elon says that we are literally a brain in a vat, the vat being your skull, and everything that you think is real is just an electrical signal, but it feels so real though. The brain is made up of billions of neurons. These tiny cells are all wired together with trillions of connections called synapses. When a neuron receives the right combination of chemical signals, it produces a big electrical spike called an action potential, which is the Neuralink logo. Our thoughts are the combination of lots of neurons creating these electrical spikes in the right patterns. If we record these spikes, we can decode them to work out what someone has just thought. We can even put electricity into the brain to make neurons spike, creating thoughts. Neuralink will solve a lot of problems related to brain diseases and spinal injuries by connecting the brain to a computer. If someone is blind due to issues with their eyes, it is now beginning to be possible to wire a camera directly into someone's brain so that they can see again. And this can apply to all other senses. We just need to plug in different devices into our brains. If someone has issues with their muscles or spine, a brain-to-computer device could help them walk or move again, sending its own signals to different parts of the body. There are also a range of medical benefits for people with mental illnesses, for example, headsets that aim to treat depression by stimulating different parts of the brain. With SpaceX, Elon Musk's long-term goal is to colonize Mars. To get to that goal, he has turned SpaceX into a business that gets paid to deliver cargo and astronauts to the ISS and launch satellites, and will soon provide its own internet connection. This business allows Elon Musk to develop the futuristic tech to later build on Mars. With Neuralink, Elon's short-term goal is to solve medical issues, while the long-term goal is to merge our brains with artificial intelligence. There are many ways our brains can be enhanced and be made superhuman. Imagine if human intelligence could be improved by 10%. Then all the engineers and scientists in the world would be able to speed up discoveries by 10%. That's like adding millions of people to the workforce, increasing humanity's productivity. And this improvement in human intelligence will only grow faster, as the engineers creating the next generation of brain-to-computer devices will also be 10% more intelligent, meaning they will make the next generation of devices 10% faster and better. This leads to exponential growth in human intelligence, similar to the improvements in computers. This could result in humans meeting or exceeding AI intelligence in the future, making AI easier to control. Here are some other examples of how a brain-to-computer device can make us superhuman. Instead of just fixing someone's eyesight by connecting their brain to a camera, we could go a step further and enhance it. The camera could be long-range, letting the person see much further. Or how about using a thermal or X-ray camera instead? Bats are able to navigate the world with sonar. A human brain could be fitted with sonar sensors, and a person could sense their surroundings in complete darkness. Other sensors will be able to plug into our brains, letting us sense things we can't today. When it comes to our memory, scientists have been able to improve the memory of visual information by 35%. When a person was forgetting things, the brain was stimulated to match it to when they were remembering things correctly. This required an electrode to be put deep into the brain. Our brains could also be connected to our home devices. In the future, our homes will be automated, with our brains doing the controlling. As soon as we wake up, we can turn on the lights as our brains are connected to the home server. You could turn on the coffee machine downstairs just by thinking about it. And our homes could even change automatically based on our brain activity, helping us stay productive. The lights can change brightness, or different music gets played when our brain activity slows down. A notification to take a break will be sent when the brain-to-computer device senses that the brain has been overworked and needs a break. Or it will tell you when to eat to achieve peak brain performance. We will also be able to communicate with each other and with machines in new ways. For example, if a person had an idea for a product, they would have to sit down and sketch it, create a 3D model, or talk to someone describing the product idea. In the future, these ideas will instantly be sent from one person's brain to another. Or the person could send the idea from their brain to a computer program that creates a 3D model of it, or even 3D prints it. For example, thinking of a blue mug, then by looking at the computer screen, a model of it appears. In the future, these brain-to-computer devices will also increase our brain's computing speed, let us multitask in superhuman ways, make us learn faster or instantly, and allow us to control external machines just with our brains. We could even download and upload past memories so that they will never be forgotten. Our dreams could be monitored and downloaded when we wake up. Could this mean that we will be practicing skills, thinking about problems, or working in our dreams, and all that information gets downloaded when we wake up? There are many concerns of how brain-to-computer devices will affect the future of humanity. If we have all our brains connected to the internet and to each other directly, we could all end up thinking the same. This is known as a hive mind. There are also security concerns. Hackers could change your mind and make you think, say, or do things you would never have done. They could hack into your brain and make you commit crimes. They could even wipe your memory so that you won't even remember doing it. But just like how people store their entire lives on their phones, from photographs and private messages to banking and health details and more, there will be high-level security to prevent these things from happening when it comes to brain-to-computer devices. How far away are we from all of this happening? The prediction is that most sci-fi level brain-to-computer connections will be available in the next 40 years. There will be a slow increase in the number of devices that can be bought over the next 5 years, with tech companies integrating some form of brain activity tracking into headsets to track sleep, concentration, and productivity. Neuralink has been approved for human trials as an FDA breakthrough device, meaning the testing process will be sped up because of the importance of the technology. Elon Musk has wanted to start human trials by the end of 2020 and has demonstrated the Neuralink tech working on pigs. We don't have to wait to see this futuristic tech being used with humans, as there are already a number of ways it is being used today. An EEG headset is non-invasive, meaning you can just wear it like a hat and not need surgery. Pads read the electrical signals on the scalp, but activity deeper down in the brain is not captured. The first kickoff of the 2014 World Cup was done by a paralyzed man that controlled an exoskeleton with his mind. The EEG headset he was wearing read his mental intention to kick the ball, and the computer sent a signal to the hydraulic robot suit he was in to kick the ball. The Neurosity EEG headset reads your brain activity and sees when you are working at your maximum efficiency. It then works to keep you at that level by giving you the right music that keeps your concentration levels high. It also mutes your notifications when you are at your peak brain performance. In China, EEG headsets were being used with school children to monitor their levels of concentration. There is a light at the front of the headband that changes color based on if they are paying attention. The data collected is sent to the teacher's computer in real time, and a daily report is sent to the parents. Then there are MRI machines, which are commonly used in hospitals for medical examinations. But scientists at UC Berkeley have been able to recreate what people are seeing just by looking at their brain activity. When users sat inside an MRI machine and watched a video, researchers were able to recreate blurry videos of what they were seeing based on the brain activity alone. In the future, we may see this kind of technology being used to replay dreams in virtual reality. Moving on to invasive brain-to-computer devices, ones that get implanted in the brain with surgery, there is the Utah Array that was developed in the 1990s. So Neuralink is not something new, but just like SpaceX and rockets, they're working on taking this technology to the next level. Similar to the Neuralink, the Utah Array has a grid of electrodes that are implanted under the skull, but does come with large electronics and wires sticking out of the user's skull. The man in the photo is controlling a cursor on the screen with his thoughts using a Utah Array device. People have also been able to control robotic arms with just their thoughts of moving their own hands. A lady with a BrainGate implant was able to imagine her own arm grabbing objects, and the robot arm would then grab the objects. She was also able to pick up and drink from a bottle. All of this brain-to-computer tech has become a hot industry, with a number of big and small players jumping in. Facebook announced in 2017 that it is making its own brain-to-computer interface with at least 60 engineers. Their initial goal is to make a non-invasive headset that allows people to type at 100 words per minute with just their thoughts. Gaming company Valve have their own video games and VR headset. Their founder, Gabe Newell, says that he has spent a lot of his time growing research on brain-to-computer interfaces. He says that we are way closer to the Matrix than people realize. But Valve and Gabe have been very secretive so far on their developments. And a company called Kernel has created a non-invasive headset which has an application called Sound ID that can recognize what songs a user is listening to just by reading their brain activity. What other abilities would a sci-fi brain-to-computer device allow humans to have? Will it end up making humans more robotic, which would be easier to achieve than making robots more human? Or will there be a combining of the two? By 3D printing human parts, which is a video we have already created, while using a brain-to-computer device to operate the 3D printed biological body, just like the robots, the hosts, on the sci-fi TV show Westworld. On the next episode of Venture City, we take a look at the future cars and vehicles that Tesla are creating. Hit the subscribe and thumbs up buttons to not miss a video.